Welcome back to the table. I'm Jordan from Friday Night Games, where we wish every night was games night. Today, we are diving into the world of beer and bread. I guess. Where carbs and hops collide in a battle of yeast and wits. Two families, friendly yet competing, struggling for eternal grain dominance. Did we just become best friends? No, we're competing. Didn't you hear him? Oh, yeah, no, totally. We're competing. Can I still call you later, or? No, we're trying to do the struggling for eternal grain dominance thing. It's a tale as old as time, or at least as old as yeast. In this friendly competition of baking and brewing, two players will harvest resources, perform upgrades, and sell beer and bread. However, to win, you must maintain balance between your baked and liquid goods. Because after the 6th year, you only score coins for the good collected in which you scored least beer or bread. Understand that? Maybe not. Neither did I, and I wrote it. Don't worry, I'm going to explain it to you in more detail. So grab this, then toss it to the side like your prom day did when you tried to show her your magic tricks. And let me teach you beer and bread. So one last question. Is it Friday yet, or? Assemble your resources and gear up for 6 years of challenges. Each of the two players has their own side of the board, which includes their storage, bakery, brewery, and upgrade slots. Shuffle all 60 beer and bread cards and place them as a single draw deck beside the board next to the forest with the lake. Create a common supply for the 5 types of resources: water, wheat, barley, rye, and hops, leaving room at 3 exchange card spaces for cards that can be placed there in future rounds during the game. Place the year marker onto the first space of the calendar track, choose a starting player, and give that player the Windmill token. The goal of beer and bread is to finish with the highest score through selling beer, bread, and using end-of-game upgrades. Your final score will be whichever of your beer or bread score is the lowest. The game unfolds over 6 rounds, alternating fruitful and dry years, each consisting of 4 phases: seeding, card, action, and windmill. During the seeding phase, players will seed the common fields with resources from the general supply. In a fruitful year, you will add resources so that the number of goods is equal to this green number, shown here. In dry years, you will either add or remove resources from the common fields until the available resource tokens are equal to this red number, as shown here. Fields looking flush. The river is always filled with all available water. In a fruitful year, deal 5 face-down cards to each player, starting with the player with the windmill. In a dry year, each player picks up the cards you played for harvest in the last round, which we'll talk about soon. Then draw as many cards from the draw deck as it takes to bring your hand back to 5, starting with the first player. Afterwards, place 3 cards from the draw deck face down on the 3 exchange card spaces of the board. These are called exchange cards. Players take turns playing cards for one of 3 actions: harvest and store, produce and sell, or upgrade and clean. The player with the windmill takes a turn by playing a card and performing an action. The second player does the same. Both players now swap hands, and play repeats until there are no cards left in the player's hands. In a dry year, players do not swap hands. In a dry year, instead of playing a card from your hand, you can swap it for one of the exchange cards on the board and play that card immediately instead. Let's look at the 3 possible uses of the cards. Harvest and store. The resources shown on the top of the card will be collected when taking the harvest and store action. All resources claimed will be placed in your storage, which consists of 9 spaces. Each can hold a resource of any type. Whenever you collect more resource tokens than you can store, choose from among all of your tokens, the ones in your storage and the new ones collected, or which you want to store. The rest you must offer to the other player now. The other player may take and store as many of the offered resource tokens as they want. If they have the free storage space, they may not exchange them for any of their already stored resources. Any excess tokens are returned to the common supply. When taking the harvest action, you'll place your card on top of any already played harvest cards from this round, creating the harvest column. Collect the resources shown on the card, as well as any matching resources shown in your harvest column. You may only collect resources from the fields and river. If there are fewer resource tokens than needed, take what is available and forfeit the rest. Produce and sell lets you brew beer and bake bread. Play the chosen card to your brewery or bakery, spend the required resources as shown in the recipe section, and flip the card face down. It remains in its space until you clean it up. You may not play a card to your brewery or bakery if there is already a face-down card there. Upgrading clean provides continuous benefits. Slide an upgrade card under the board, matching the symbol of the card with the corresponding board slot, leaving the upgrade section of the card visible. There is no limit to the number of upgrade cards you can have in your village. Then clean your brewery and bakery by removing sold cards and placing them face down beside the board, fanned out so you can see how many you have sold. You may look at these at any time. Lastly, in the windmill phase, advance the year marker 1 round and give the windmill token to the player with the fewest resources in their storage. After a dry year, discard the 3 exchange cards and any cards played for a harvest this round. After 6 rounds, tally your scores, the value of your beer and bread scores, and any upgrades. Remember, your final score is whichever is lowest, beer or bread. So there you have it. Now you know how to play beer and bread. So grab a friend, head to the table, and enjoy. And if you like this video, please let me know what you thought. This was our first one, and we love having you here at Friday Night Games. Thanks so much for stopping by. Like, comment, and subscribe. My name's Jordan from Friday Night Games. Much love.